And so once you come down to your back, you begin to get settled there. Just beginning to arrive where you found yourself, down on your mat, your blanket, your carpet, your floor this morning. And taking a couple of conscious breaths here, maybe your first conscious breaths of the day. Inhaling and exhaling, and as you inhale, noticing where the body moves, that swelling of the belly, expansion of the ribs, the lungs. And then as you exhale, noticing that condensing, that hugging inwards. And just taking a little bit of time here to arrive where you are, coming present with where your body is resting on the earth. You taking a few moments to notice where your body is in contact with the earth, what parts of the body are resting down, and what parts of the body are suspended upwards to the sky. Where are those little gaps, those little spaces between where you're lying and your body. And let your breathing be gentle and soft here. We're not trying to strain. Just seeing maybe if you can extend the exhales for a couple of breaths. So you can count this if you want, or just have the sense of the exhaling, extending longer than the inhale. Maybe after exhale, there's a little pause before the inhale comes back in. Just letting those exhales ground you, allow you to arrive more into your body, more into the present. And taking that little check-in that we take of how we're feeling this morning. Maybe that's on a physical level, maybe mental, the mind, emotional, energetic. And your energy levels, how are your emotions, how are you feeling? How's the mind this morning? And how does your physical body feel? Maybe there's one or two of those areas that are more present, more prominent this morning, just noticing that. Whatever is arriving, whatever's there, just letting it be. Not needing to judge or change it. Just see if we can be present with whatever is there for us at any given time. And if your legs are out long, just beginning to slide one foot up to stand on the mat with the knee up to the sky. And then taking that other foot, sliding it up, bringing it to stand on the floor so both knees are up. And then finding that hip width distance apart, so bringing those feet together, the knees together, and then taking that little step out of the toes, little step out of the heels, let the knees come apart. So your legs around that hip width distance. And you can take a little, we're not doing kind of full somatic movement here this morning, so you can take a little shuffle of the feet out or in, away towards the body. Just find that place where the feet feel comfortable in this constructive breath shape this morning. And wherever you are, just feeling into those bones of the legs, so the upper and lower legs and where they kind of meet in the middle with the knee joint. And feeling that support of bones of the legs, down into the hip sockets and the pelvis. And just letting the belly be soft, pelvis be soft. Seeing if you can let those legs just have a very slight tonus there, but not kind of too active. And if they are, maybe take a little shuffle and find a place where the legs feel relaxed. And coming back to your breathing. And let the arms be down by the side of the body here. We'll take this one at a time. So as you take your next inhale, allow one arm just to slide up along the floor beside you. Opening up that side of the body, that lung, that rib cage. And then as you exhale, let the arms slide, float back down, keeping it down on the earth, sliding back down to the side. Take that a couple more times, inhaling. And as you inhale, move the arm. You can take the other arm, the other hand, and just start to massage out that side of the body. You're feeling into those intercostal muscles and the rib cage. Moving up to the shoulder, having the rub of the shoulder muscles and the bones. Maybe along that clavicle. Maybe to the center of the chest, into the sternum. And if you are arriving at the sternum, maybe feeling into those little notches where the ribs meet the sternum here. And you can just have a little feel of the bones, the muscles, the ribs, and the shoulder, the clavicle, the sternum here. There's no right or wrong, just take this how you want. I'm just beginning to wake up the side of the body as you move that arm up and down with the breath. Maybe take that one more time. Breathing the arm up as you inhale. And then as you exhale, floating that arm back down. And then just let both arms rest. And just notice if there's any differences on each side of the body here. Maybe that one side you've been moving or feeling feels a little more activation or a bit tingly. Just noticing any sensations. Let's take that on the other side. So inhaling, the other arm sweeps up, floats up towards the side of the body. The other hand can come and just massage, feeling into those ribs. Exhaling the arm down. Maybe it's taking little taps of the ribs here as well, taps of the shoulder towards the sternum. And if you do come towards that sternum in the center of the chest, again, noticing maybe those notches where the ribs meet the sternum. You can have a kind of little massage or kind of move the sternum side to side here. And just feel into any movement there. Clavicle, where it meets the sternum at the top. And then reaches up towards that shoulder joint. And take that one more time, inhaling the arm up. Breathing into that side of the body, that side of the lung, the rib cage, and then breathing the arm down with that exhale. And then coming back, just to rest for a few moments on your back. Just notice what you notice. Well, we're going to come onto the side body. So just rolling over to one side, whatever side you want to start on first is fine. And as you come onto your side body, I recommend having a folded blanket or a cushion I'm going to bring a cushion actually under my head. And then set up like you're sitting in a chair here. So the knees are at that right angle, the feet out in front, and then the feet at another right angle there. And that arm underneath, if it's not supporting the head, which it can be, you can lie on that arm to give support to the head. It can just be out in front. And then that top arm just rest down somewhere around the belly or kind of in front of the heart there. And then you can push into the floor with that top hand and just elongate the spine towards your pillow, elongating the head, kind of giving a little pull of the body towards that pillow or that rest, just to give a little space in spine. And just notice here with your setup that you're looking towards the horizon, and notice if you're kind of curling inwards, if there's a shortening of the front of the body, or if you've kind of extended through the back and there's a shortening of the back of the body, and just seeing if you can create a little bit of neutrality in the spine here. And then once you set up and you're comfortable, noticing those knees stacked on top of each other, and then allowing the top knee to slide over the bottom knee. So keeping the legs together, we're just sliding the knee over and then sliding it back to me. And as you do this, just let the rest of the body follow. So the head might roll, the rib cage, the lungs might roll forward, pelvis might roll. Just moving back and forth a few times with that knee sliding slightly further than the bottom knee, just have to be a couple of centimeters or an inch, doesn't have to be a lot. And take that one more time. Let this be really gentle and relaxed, rolling and then coming back. Oh, and then the next time you take this movement with this top hand, let the top hand kind of rest down on the earth with those fingertips and give a little bit of pressure here. And then as you roll the knee, see if you can keep that top shoulder where it is. So you're not allowing the upper body to follow that lower body. That pelvis can come forward, but the shoulder kind of stays facing up towards the sky. And so as you take this movement a couple of times, bringing the knee forward, you might notice the shoulder blade kind of hugs back towards the body to keep that shoulder stable. Allowing just that upper body to stay where it is, and the knee and the pelvis roll forward or come forward slightly. It's all good if it's a bit confusing. Just let yourself move how you want to move here if you're not sure. And take that one more time, keeping that shoulder up towards the sky. Pelvis and knee come slightly forward. Cool, and then release that hand and just take that movement just one or two more times. Now letting everything roll again. Just bringing a little bit of awareness, differentiation here into the movement of those ribs and the movement of the pelvis. Cool, coming back to neutral here. And then taking that top hand over that bottom hand, letting them meet. And then from here, again, we'll slide that top hand over the bottom hand. It might come along the floor slightly and just let everything roll forward. And then come back to meet that hand. That knee can slide. Just take this one or two times, sliding forward, coming back. And take that again, sliding the hand forward. Reaching it further than the bottom hand. And then as you come back this time, allow that hand to keep moving back, sliding along that bottom arm. And then the hand slides along the chest. Then let it open out to the floor behind you, to the side of you. Those knees can come away from each other. They don't have to be glued together. And if that shoulder doesn't meet the earth behind you, then that's all good. Just opening out. And then after a few breaths, open out and then bend at the elbow and bring that hand back onto the chest and slide it back along the chest, along that bottom arm, sliding back. to rest, and then letting it slide forward again, and then sliding it back. And just take this movement now fluidly in your own time. You can hold kind of in that open shape for a breath or two if you'd like, or you can keep the movement quite fluid as you move here. Let the knees slide and glide over each other. You don't have to be glued together here. And as you move, just feeling into that rotation of the rib cage, of the lungs, that movement of the sternum, in the center of the chest where the rib cages meet together. Maybe let this be your last one, taking this fast or as slow as you'd like. Keep breathing here. Or then come back to rest down on your side. Take a couple of breaths here, just feel what you feel. And we'll come to meet on the other side. If you want to just come over to your back body for a couple of breaths and just notice how each side of the body feels, and feeling free to do that. And then rolling over to the other side. I'm going to set up on the other side of my mat just so I'm facing forward, but you can just roll over to the other side and set yourself up in the same way. So yeah, make sure there's a bit of cushioning behind your head as well for that rolling. Forgot to say that the first time. Just so you don't kind of roll off your cushion or your pillow here. And so setting up in that seated shape again, the knees out at that 90 degree, the legs out 90 degree. That bottom arm can be out in front. Or if it's your headrest, let that be your headrest. And that top hand for now can just rest down by the belly, by the side. And then pushing into the earth, extending that spine towards your cushions, your pillows, whatever's there. Just elongating that spine, just making sure you're not curving inwards, slouching inwards, or extending kind of the back body. See if you can create a neutral spine here, looking towards the horizon in front of you. Well, let's take that movement on this side. So again, just let the knee slide forward of the bottom knee, the body rocks, rolls towards the earth, and then sliding that leg back. Doesn't have to be a big movement. Letting this be easeful, let everything kind of like jelly, just move with that movement of the knee. We'll take that one more time. And then come back to the knees, they're kind of stacked on top of each other. And then this time we're gonna, again, bring that pressure to that top hand with maybe the fingertips or the palm can be on the floor. And just see if you can hold that shoulder, that upper rib cage in place as the knee slides forward, hip, pelvis might slide forward. The shoulder blade kind of hugs in towards the back body, keeping that shoulder stable and then calming back. And take that a couple of times. It's the upper body that stays where it is while the lower body rocks forward and back. Let the belly be soft. Just notice if you're holding kind of tension while you're doing this, seeing if you can just let the movement be still quite relaxed, but just holding that upper body in place. Take that one more time. And then just a couple of times, release that hand, let everything roll with the knee. Make sure you're still breathing here. Or coming back to that neutral place, knees on top of each other. And then allow those hands to meet in front of you. And again, sliding that top arm forward, that top hand forward of the bottom hand. Might slide on the floor slightly, the whole body follows. And then rolling back to that neutral place. Take that a couple of times. The head can roll down, the whole body kind of rolling down towards the earth and then coming back. And then the next time you take this, let's start to open up the body. So keeping that arm sliding along that bottom arm, sliding along the chest, opening out towards the back of the body. You might want to take a few breaths here in this shape. And then bending at the elbow, that hand reaches back towards the body and slides back along that bottom arm. And then reaches forward again. And again, just take this movement in your own pace, in your own time. Not worrying if your shoulder is meeting the earth. We're not trying to achieve any shape here. We're just noticing that rotation, that slide and glide of the body, the rib cage, rolling here, being like that jelly, soft. Maybe take this 1 or 2 more times, depending on how fast or slow you're going. You might be moving a lot slower than me, or maybe faster. Noticing, keeping awareness into the sensations in the body as you move, the breath. Or wherever you are, let this be your last one. And then let those hands come back together, or that arm you can just release. Just take a few breaths here. Oh, and then as you arrive, we're going to come up to just sit for a few moments. So pushing those hands into the earth, just bringing the body up gently. And you might, before we come into those cat-cows, you might want to just take a little seat, however it's comfortable for you, and just feel into how those shoulders feel, how the rib cage feel. Take a few movements in your seated shape. We just breathe into those lungs. Just notice how the body's feeling after those movements. Oh, and then we're going to come to meet with our palms and knees on the earth. So coming into that cat-cow shape. And as always in our cat-cow, bringing support onto the knees if you like that, with the blanket or whatever other support you have. And then also you can always come down to those elbows at any time as well, and bringing them down to a bolster or a cushion. Also just feeling into that support of the earth now underneath the hands, the lower legs, the feet. We're going to take a few little dips here from the elbows. So then the elbows bend, bringing the chest down towards the earth, and then pushing into the hands and rising the body back up. Take them a few times, but just ensure that you're not kind of slouching down or letting those shoulders go like this, and see if you can keep awareness in the upper body. So keep that suspension upwards, that lift with the shoulders, the chest. And just take a few more little dips with the elbows, and then push into the hands to bring yourself up. Use that yielding down to the earth to push you, to suspend you back up to the sky. Or maybe take that one more time, bending those elbows and then pushing from the hands into the earth, rising back up. Or let's take some of our cat-cows here now. So on your next breath, breathing, arching the body up, towards the sky, head and tailbone rolling down, and then elongating on the next breath out into that cow shape, head and tail going towards the front and the back of the mat. And just take this in your own time with your own breath here into these cat-cow shapes. And have a little play of how the breath is supporting you in this movement. So if you're inhaling through one movement and exhaling through the other, maybe see if you can change that now. And just notice how that changes the sensation of the movement, how the movement feels. And then if you'd like to, start bringing that movement towards the knees through the cat, and then weight towards the hands through the cow. Starting to make this movement a little bit more dynamic. And as you move here again, see if you can bring awareness to that push of the hands to bring you back. And then that push that yields the earth and push away from the earth to bring you forward. So using the support of the earth here to move you through these shapes. And notice if that changes how the movement feels. And then you can stay with this movement if it feels good, or just allow any free movement to come in. So maybe through the sides of the body, rolling through the sides of the ribs, the lungs, rotating through the pelvis, those hips, movement through the shoulder blades, bringing the weight to one hand, to the other, to one knee, to the other, taking little circles of the body. You can tuck the toes here as well and start to bring the weight towards the toes and just have a little feel of those soles of the feet as well. Just waking up those feet there. And staying with your breath as you take these movements. Maybe moving through some familiar shapes and then maybe exploring some different movement pathways or shapes that you haven't made before or feel new. Let this be an exploration. Be curious about movement, be curious about your breath and how it can support you. Take another 3 or 4 breath cycles with these movements, moving as slow or as fast as you'd like. And the next couple of breaths, we'll come back to a child's pose. So those knees can be out towards the side of the mat, toes touching, or the knees can be more together here. And then bringing the sit bones back towards those heels, coming down into your child's pose. Those arms can be extended outwards or they can be back behind the body here. And taking any support you want underneath the body. So maybe a bolster or an extra blanket, a cushion, pillow. And if your head's resting down on a surface, you can maybe have a little roll side to side through the forehead. That might rock the rest of the body with you. And find a sense of stillness here if that's comfortable. Notice the breath in the back of the body. See if you can direct some breath into the back of those lungs there, the back of the rib cage. Notice the movement of those shoulder blades as you breathe. On the inhale, the shoulder blades move apart, and the exhale, they come together. And then on the next breath here, walking the hands towards the body, or just bringing the body up, each vertebrae one at a time, allowing the neck and the head to be the last to come up. We'll come to a kneeling shape here. And if this isn't a very comfortable place for you, options are to bring kind of pillows or blankets underneath those sit bones, or you can just start. We're going to come up to this shape, so you can start just up in this shape and kind of stay here for the movements. Just taking those options if you need. And so from here, allowing the arms to be down to the side, and then we'll breathe the arms and the body upwards, coming up and then reaching, have a little reach up towards the sky, and then breathing the body back down. And take this a few times, so coming from the earth and then breathing the body up, allowing a little push down through the lower legs, through the knees. Take that sense of yielding down and allow that push upwards to bring you up, and then reach up, suspend up to the sky, and then come back down to the earth. Take that one more time with the arms out straight here. And you can have a look up, or you can keep looking towards the horizon, whatever feels comfortable for your neck. And then next time you come up, allow the arms to cross in front of the body, and then open up towards the sky, maybe having a little open of those shoulders of the chest, and then crossing them the other way, so the other arm comes in front this time, and then coming back, maybe letting them swing back slightly behind you, almost like you're a bird spreading its wings up and out, coming, curling inwards, and then opening back out as you come back down. And just take that a couple more times. Breathing the body up, opening out, curling in, and then expanding back out with those wings, those arms. And seeing if you can stay with your breath here. Maybe the inhale, the exhale is bringing you up, and then the opposite breath is bringing you down. And let this movement be conscious and slow, or have that sense of that movement, so we're not just swinging the arms and letting them be too loose. We're really feeling into that movement. Oh, and then let that be your last one, wherever you are. Let the arms relax down to the side. And then this time we'll just take one arm up, so whatever arm you want to bring up first, breathing that arm across the body, and the body can kind of swing towards that side, and then taking that arm up, letting it rest at the top, and then that opposite hand can come down to the hip here, and then take a little bend over to the side. So opening out that side of the body, that side of the lung. You can have a little pat up that lung, a little massage if you'd like, along that rib cage. And take one more breath here. And then come back up towards the sky. Allow the arm to come across the body. The body can rotate with that arm movement, and then come back down. Take a little resting breath here. Maybe noticing each side of the body, how each side of the body feels. And then taking that on the other side. So other arm swings up, but letting it be conscious and controlled. Across the body can rotate, coming up, reaching up to the sky. Hand can come to that hip, and then take a little side bend here on the other side. Again, maybe having a little pat out of the ribs, the lungs, a little massage or rub. And just taking 1, 2 more breaths here. Breathing the arm up, let that other arm release. And then rotating it, swinging it across the body. And then coming all the way down to that kneeling shape, if that's where you are. Oh, just notice what you notice. Take a couple of resting breaths here. And the next time we come up, we're going to swing one leg forward and come into that low lunge shape. So see if you can take this quite controlled, and you can bring the hands down as well if that kind of disrupts your balance, you're not sure. So breathing the arms up. And as you do this, stepping the right foot forward, coming into that low lunge. And you can take that a couple of times if you want to just have a little play with that movement. Reaching those arms up to the sky. And then breathing the arms out towards the side of the body, coming to that side twist here. And if this isn't a comfortable place for your shoulders or your body, one of the arms can come down and you just have one arm out. Breathing into this shape. And then breathing, swinging that back arm forward, breathing the arms up to the sky. And then breathing the hands back down, stepping that foot back and coming back into that kneeling shape. And take a couple of breaths here before we take that on the other side. And when you're ready, let's step the left foot forward this time. So breathing the arms up, coming up with the body and then stepping that left foot forward. Coming to that low lunge on the other side. That back foot can swing a little bit kind of towards the body if you want a bit more stability here as well. And then when you're ready, breathing the arms towards the left leg this time, opening out towards the other side, taking that little twist of the body. Again, just letting the arms drop down to the side. If that's not comfortable, it can just be a twist of the torso. Breathing into this shape. And swinging that back arm forward, breathing the arms up. And then coming down, framing that foot, stepping it back. And coming into that kneeling shape again. Take a couple of breaths here. Feel what you feel, notice what you notice. And then bringing the body forward, and we'll come back into a child's pose. Letting the arms come out to the front or to the back. Bringing the body back down towards the earth. Take a couple of breaths here. Cool, so I'm gonna cue into a downward dog now. So if you want to remove any blankets from the mat here, just to have that grippy surface, then taking the time to do that now. And so from our child's pose, bringing the weight, pushing into those lower legs, bringing the body back up into that palms and knees shape. And then tuck those back toes and just again, start to bring the weight towards the toes and then towards the hands, just a couple of times here. Pushing into the feet, pushing into the hands, playing with that weight back and forth. And then the next time you bring the weight towards the toes, just have a little lift of those knees and then let them come down, bring the weight to the hands. Lift up the knees, let them come down. And take that maybe one more time. And then the next time you come back, lift up those knees and let the tailbone and the pelvis rise up and back, coming into your downward dog. And if downward dog isn't for you this morning, taking the option to have the elbows and the knees on the floor as well. And as you arrive, just taking any movement here you might want to take. So maybe lifting one heel and then bringing it down, suspending the heels up and down, bending through the knees, taking any rotational movements through the pelvis. Maybe bending the knees towards center. Let this be quite a fluid shape for you. It doesn't have to be static or still. These heels can be away from the floor. Let the knees bend as much as you need. Feel into this shape. Feel into the weight on your hands and let those hands
actively kind of push away from the earth, those shoulders draw away from the earth. Let that spine elongate towards the sky. We're going to come into a high lunge here, so bringing awareness towards that right foot, lifting that right foot off the mat and then stepping it through and forward between those front hands. And you can help that foot as well with the other hand if you need. And then just make any little adjustments, maybe stepping that back foot more out towards the side, finding your stability here. And then when you're ready, bending into that back knee slightly and letting that lift you up into your high lunge shape. And as you arrive, letting those hands come up towards the sky, bending into that front knee. And then breathing the body out into that twist towards the right side. So towards that front leg, so whatever front leg's forward, if you've taken the other one forward. Taking another breath here. And then breathing that arm forward. And it come up and forward, and then breathing those arms up towards the sky, feeling into this high lunge shape. And then breathing the arms down, framing that front foot. And then options as well here is that you can always come into that high lunge, that low lunge, sorry, with the knee down. So options here again, you can bring that knee down if you'd like, or stay in this high lunge shape, keeping that left hand on the floor here, maybe up on those fingertips, and then breathing that right arm up towards the sky, coming into that low lunge twist, that runner's lunge twist. Let the heart, the chest open up towards the sky. That head can be looking up or to the horizon, to the side. Take one more breath here. Breathe that arm back down, frame that front foot, and then step that back foot back into that downward facing dog, or into that lower shape if you were in that. And take some movement here in your down dog. Pedal out those feet. Take any movement you'd like to make. And let's take that on the other side. So bringing awareness to the left foot this time, letting that left foot suspend up off the earth and then bringing it forward between those front hands. You can help with that hand as well if you need, and then just make any adjustments with that back foot, maybe stepping it back or in. And then when you're ready, bending that back knee and allowing that to lift you, suspend you up into your high lunge on the other side. And again, if you want to be in that low lunge shape, or this is not a shape that is right for you this morning, or you don't want something that's active, just bringing that knee down, coming into that low lunge. When you're ready, opening out the body to the left side this time, or towards that front knee. Again, the hands can be down towards the side, and you can just take a little look towards the side as well. Take one more breath in this shape. And let that back arm rotate forward, meeting that other arm. Breathing the body up into that high lunge. And then letting the arms breathe all the way down, framing that front foot. And again, you can allow that knee to come down and take the twist with the knee down here, or keeping the knee up. Keeping that right hand down on the earth, maybe on the fingertips, letting that hand be quite stable. And then breathing that left arm all the way up to the sky, rotating the body, the heart, the lungs, the ribs. And take one more breath cycle here, inhaling into that opening of the body. And then when you're ready, exhaling, breathing the hand back down towards the mat. Framing the front foot and then stepping that foot back into your downward facing dog. And then taking any final movements here in your downward dog you'd like to make whenever you're ready, coming down, letting the knees drop down. If you are in your downward dog, just take 1 or 2 more breath cycles here. Any movements you want to make. And then breathing those knees down to the earth, bringing those sit bones towards the toes, towards the heels, coming back into that child's pose. And resting down into your child's pose towards the earth. Maybe through these movements, your breath cadence has sped up slightly. So seeing if you can just begin to let the breath come back to your normal speed, normal cadence. Maybe allowing those exhales again to extend a little bit. Just beginning to ground back down here, meeting the earth. If you'd like to, if your hands are out long in front of you, you can bring or walk the hands towards one side of the mat. Feeling into the opening on one side of the body, condensing of the other. And then walking the hands back through center and to the other side. Only if that's comfortable for you. Breathing those hands back to center and just take another 2 to 3 more breath cycles in your child's pose, wherever you are. Taking those options as always with pillows or coming up towards the elbows if it's not comfortable to be kind of down towards the hips this much. And then pushing into those lower legs, bringing the weight towards the hands. And then walking those hands forward, so in that kind of low press up shape, and lowering the body all the way down to the mat. So we're going to meet on our bellies here just for a couple of breaths. So taking any way you want to get there to arrive down on your belly. And then bringing the hands as a little headrest out in front of you, letting the forehead rest down on the hands here. And if that's not comfortable, you can bring kind of one hand down to the side and rest down on one hand on the side of the head and let one arm down, be down by the side. I'm just going to take a few little back lifts here, just really gentle with the back of the body. So just noticing as you inhale here and exhale, as you inhale, the belly swells into the mat. And then move slightly away as you exhale. And on your next inhale, inhaling and lifting the head and the chest away from the hands. And then exhaling the head and the chest back down, resting back down towards the mat. And just take that in your own time, inhaling, bringing the chest and the head away from those hands, and then exhaling the head back. And just notice as you take this movement, that little bit of engagement in the back of the body as you bring the head and the chest up. You can push into those hands to kind of help support that movement, and then allowing that release of the back body as you come back down. Let's take that a couple more times, just letting it be really gentle, not straining to get anywhere here. We're not trying to push too high up. We're just noticing that little bit of engagement in the back of the body.
waking up those back muscles a little bit, and then letting them release. Oh, and then let that be your last one. Take a little rest down. And then we'll roll over to our back bodies. We'll start to set up for our rest here. So if you want to bring some blankets underneath you, if you move them away, and then just letting any blankets, any support underneath the body come back down onto the mat. And then coming down onto your back body here. And just to finish, we'll take a little wash rag. So let those knees be up to the sky and the feet can be out towards the side of the mat or more together here, just wherever feels comfortable for you. And let the knees rock to one side, the weight comes towards one side of the pelvis, and the head looks towards the other side. Just that little soft twist of the body as you come through that wash rag. Just be mindful of the lower back here. Don't strain to get the knees down to the earth or to get to any shape. Just let this be really gentle for the body. And as you move, see if you can keep that length on the lower body and the side of the body here. So length from that hip up to that shoulder. And then we'll set up for our rest. So just taking any final movements you'd like to make. Maybe you want to hug the knees into the chest for a little bit or take a happy baby. Just let whatever you're doing be quite active and moving. So if you're coming to that happy baby shape with the feet up, maybe taking one leg up and the other one, just let that be a kind of movable shape here. Taking a little rock on the back of the body. As you're hugging the knees in, let those knees move. Feeling into those hip joints, those hip sockets. And taking any final movement you'd like to make, whatever feels good for your body in this moment. And coming to rest in the next couple of breaths, or maybe you're already there, honoring whatever your body wants. And using any support you want to use, blankets and cushions, bolsters, pillows underneath the knees. And as you arrive into your resting shape, taking some conscious breaths here. Again, maybe letting those exhales extend slightly. Just see if you can bring awareness to that heart space. Maybe taking a hand and giving that heart space a little bit of a rub on the chest, if that's useful. You're keeping the hand here if you'd like. Seeing if you can imagine breathing from this place. Imagine the inhale, inhaling into the heart space, and exhaling from the heart. Just dropping into the body, away from the mind. And just seeing if you can rest with a sense of ease here, feeling into this heart space. Maybe some other words like joy, compassion, love, gratitude, which come up for you and feeling into the heart. Or if it's just feeling that sense of ease. Just taking a few minutes here to rest in this place. Letting your body be soft, awareness into the heart of that surgery. Breathing from this place. So feeling free to stay here as long as you'd like to. You can just turn off the call or just let it end when I end it. I won't mind at all if you just want to stay here for a little bit longer. If you want to finish together. And just bringing a few more deep breaths into the body. Extending that exhale for a little bit, maybe taking that little pause. And just beginning to come back into your body, arriving back to your space. And taking any little movements of the toes, the fingers, waking up into those joint spaces of the wrist and the ankles, maybe the elbows and knees, maybe having a little stretch out of the body. And then if you're on your back body, rolling over to one side. Just taking a few moments here on your side body before we get on with the rest of our day. And maybe just setting a little intention while you're here, or just a little thought about how you'd like the rest of the day to be for you, or what you want to bring to the day, or how you want to be in your day. And coming to take a comfortable seat when you're ready. When you arrive, breathing those arms out towards the side and overhead. And then breathing them all the way down, letting them rest down on the body where you'd like, maybe by heart space. Be one hand on heart, one on belly. And as always, sending yourself lots of love and gratitude, appreciation for taking this time to move on your Saturday morning before the rest of your day. Taking this time just for you. Aroha mai, aroha atu. Love and compassion received, love and compassion given. Thank you everyone for joining.